Hi, everyone. Eileen Johnson here. I want to welcome you back to another Facebook Live. And today I'm going to be talking about a question that you may be answering. I'm pretty sure you've probably been asked it. That may be actually giving a lot of your power away when you're interviewing. In case you've never seen me before, I'm Eileen Johnson, and I am a career strategist to high achieving corporate professionals who are looking to upgrade their career and transform their lives. So that's why actually this topic is really important, because I am all about empowering women to take charge of their careers. And this question that I'm referring to is the question of, what are you currently making? Hmm. Who's been asked it? Raise your hand. I would think that almost every single person out there who's interviewed has probably been asked it. Unfortunately, I'm seeing this become more and more of it's just a standard rote question that is even being asked on like first interviews. And it's one that I actually struggle a lot with because I find it to be really unethical. And so what happens is a recruiter, it's usually recruiters, not always, will do even a phone screen with you and they will say to you, hey, what are you currently making? And here you are in this really difficult position because, first of all, you haven't determined that you want this job. Second of all, you don't know what's required necessarily of this job. Sure, you've probably read the job description, but that isn't always accurate of what's really going on with this job. And third of all, what you're currently making actually has no bearing on what you should be making. So, what I like to advise people when they get into a situation like this and they're being asked, what's your current salary, is to say something along the lines of, well, I'm really looking at opportunities that are going to pay me 100 to 115,000. Give them a range. You don't need to tell them what you're currently making. You need to let them know what you expect to be making, because that's really what they're trying to get a handle on is, can we afford this person? Does it make sense for us to move forward in talking to this person? Or, are they totally out of our league, out of our, if they're looking to make $200,000 and we're looking to pay somebody 80,000, well, maybe that, we don't need to be talking. But by giving them a range of what you're looking to be making, that really helps them. And it helps you by not showing all your cards. So I know sometimes what happens though is recruiters and hiring managers will push you and they will say, well, I have to know. You need to tell me how much you're making or we can't move forward. And I would continue to, try to use that language of, I'm really looking for opportunities that are going to pay me $115,000 to $130,000. Does it make sense for us to continue this conversation? Are we in that range? Another thing I will say is kind of going back to what I said earlier in the conversation is, it's really hard for me to answer a question like that because I don't really know what this job is going to entail. And I'm sure you're going to pay me at the top of your ability and what you see commensurate with the experience that I bring to the table. But at this point, I'm not really even sure what this job entails, so it's difficult for me to answer that question and really turn it more about the opportunity that you're looking to move into rather than your past. Because honestly, your past doesn't really dictate what it is that you're going to be making in the future. And just because you're making $100,000 here doesn't mean that you should be making $100,000 moving forward. If you're delivering $100,000 worth of value, then that absolutely makes sense that you would be staying at that same level. But it's really a question that you don't want to answer. And the reason I'm really harping on you don't want to answer it is that as soon as they know that, oh, she's only making, 95,000, then they're going to think, we don't have to pay her more than that. And that is when you really give away your power to be able to negotiate when it comes down to that point. When you are being offered the position, when you do understand exactly what is going to be required, when you do know what the responsibilities are going to be, when you do know, how your background experience really sets you up perfectly for what it is that you're going to be moving into. And so that's why I say really reserve that information for yourself. And, sometimes jokingly people have even said, my accountant would be really upset if I shared that information with you. That is private information that I can't share with you. And you can kind of say jokingly, but it's also true. This is one piece of information that is very personal to you. And I wouldn't be throwing it out there willy-nilly to the first person who asks. And, again, I know that there can be a lot of pressure put on you to answer this question, and they can continue to kind of push you and push you and push you, and that can be really difficult. And at that point, if you're doing kind of some of these strategies and these techniques of not answering the question and giving them a range and kind of going about it that way, and if they're still pushing you, then I would take a step back and think, is this a company I want to work for? If they're not respecting how I'm responding to this, if they're not respecting my privacy with this, if they are really pushing me on this, is this really a company that I want to be working for? And that's, at some point I have people that will walk away and just be like, you know what, this isn't worth it to me. Because clearly they are not putting a value on what it is that you can bring to the table, what it is that you can do for them. They're basically treating you as a commodity. And that is where I don't want any of my clients or anybody that I know to ever be in a position to be treated as a commodity. And this question really starts to treat you as a commodity. So that's why I want you to be prepared. Go into every interview expecting them to expecting them to ask you that question, and then be prepared with your answer and being prepared to decide how far you're going to go. Are you going to give in and give that number, or are you going to stand firm and say, absolutely, this is the range I'm looking for. I'm not comfortable giving out that personal data information, and how can we move forward from here? So I would love to hear from all of you. Has this question ever come up for you? Have you ever been asked, what's your current salary? Have you ever stumbled and like, I don't really know what to say. I don't know how to answer this question. I'm going to guess there's a lot of you out there that have had this question asked of you. And I'd just be curious, to hear how you have handled it in the past. And, having heard what I've shared with you today, how you may handle things differently moving forward. So type your comments in the comments box. Even if you're watching this on replay, I love to see those comments and I'll respond back to them, even if it's day, a week, month later, whatever it happens to be. So please share with me your experiences or any questions you might have about how to handle this. Because again, like I said, I'm all about empowering you, and this is one question that is going to take your power away from you. I never want that to happen. So I'm Eileen Johnson. I am a career strategist helping women upgrade their careers so they can elevate their lives. Thank you for joining me today. And I'm going to throw a link into the comment section. And if you want to be notified when I go live or when there's a replay available so that you don't miss any of these helpful Facebook Lives that I do, just sign up for that. So I'll put that in after I finish up the live broadcast today so you can sign up. And I will catch you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.